Hello and welcome to the Sketching Greyhound. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Kai, your host, and very happy that you're here for my first piece of art in about 5 months. Yes, this is actually not just the first video about art that I'm doing. I have not drawn anything else in that time frame, so I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I hope you will be too. This is Felicia, by the way. She doesn't necessarily look like it, but she is fast asleep here, so I know you want to press that subscribe and the like button, and I encourage you to do so, but please do it quietly. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Anyway, in my last video I told you that I will be designing my own tarot cards. Well, at least eventually. Let's focus on the art on the card themselves for now. But it's kinda hard enough as it's bigger than anything else I've done yet. So if you are unclear what tarot is, I explained it at least on a surface level in this video here. We will be drawing the major arcana, that is 22 cards. And we start with card 0, that is the Fool. Now let me say something that will be the case for all the cards, but I think it's especially important that I point that out for the Fool, because the name Fool creates directly a couple of associations that are perhaps not so favorable. But people that I'm drawing here, I am drawing because I like them, because I admire them, because I think they are great people. And what you perhaps do not know is that most or all tarot cards have at least a couple of positive readings also to them. So I will be focusing on those positive attributes for all of the cards, because I don't want to draw people that I don't like, and I do not want to insult anyone by putting them on those cards. It is meant as a compliment, and that is the same for the Fool. But I would say let's start drawing, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And while I can already see how I started the picture, let me just take a quick second to add something that I forgot in my original video about tarot, and that is something a lot of people mentioned in the comments actually. A lot of people are not really using tarot cards as something to tell the future, and they often also do not believe that tarot cards are able to do that, but they are using them for guidance. And while if you are a hardcore skeptic, like in parts I am, you might now think that's not a good thing to trust cards in telling you how to live your life and how to take some big decisions. But the more I think about it, the more I get the feeling that tarot cards have started as something occult, but you can actually also consider them kind of a psychological vehicle, a tool to use to really reflect on your situation and to look at the question in a new light. Because in the end, everything about tarot is about interpretation, and it just gives you the possibility to look differently at some questions that you have asked yourself, or a situation that you do not know how to solve. So if you don't believe in the magic of the cards, still do not write them off as just something occult. I think either way there is some validity here. But now let's go back to the card at hand. So when I looked into the Fool, I really liked actually the Thoth Tarot, is that how you say it? The Aleister Crowley version of the description, because I thought it was very positive. So I'm also leaning a little bit into that, although what I'm showing you here, and if I quote anything, that will be the Rider-Waite Tarot, because of copyright issues. I've talked about that in the introductory video for the tarot cards. But in general, over the time, the Fool become, I would say, a little bit more positive. So in the beginning of the tarot cards, he was more depraved and base instincts ruled. That was turned in time a little bit more positive, up until the point where I choose to take my reading from for the Fool, which is that the Fool is chaotic. The Fool is without inhibitions. The Fool does not think ahead. The Fool just lives. So it's all about living your life to the fullest, not being burdened by sorrows, not being afraid. Just live, just go forward, which can be a bit much at times for the ones around you, or also a little bit dangerous for yourself. That's how all extremes are. But if I'm truthful, I kind of admire those personality traits of the Fool, and I think I can learn from them, and I think a lot of people can learn from them a little bit, always in doses, never extreme, always in doses. Because just living is not easy, and not thinking about the past is not easy. Not thinking about the future is not easy. But sometimes we should just be in the moment and just allow ourselves to be a little chaotic as well. Which leads us directly to my model for this card, which is Evan from Evan and Katelyn. I've actually drawn both of them already on my channel as a regular portrait. It's quite some time ago, but you can go back and check out those videos if you're interested. Those two have a YouTube channel where they are making quite interesting DIY projects. They started more with regular stuff, but once they had their following, they let loose a little bit more and do now stuff a little bit more on the crazy side. And I think that is something where Evan really excels. So both of them are a lot of fun. I love them both. And I will find a card where I can put Katelyn on, because I really want to. But the Fool, that is Evan's card. You know, Katelyn is more on the planning side. She has to find stuff out. She has to organize. Evan also likes to organize, yes, but he also just marches on. He just does. He just loves and excels in chaos, so that is the very clear reason why I have chosen him to represent my Fool. So concerning the composition, I understand that there is a lot going on in this picture, but I think it's fitting for the Fool, so I hope you can forgive me for that. Probably the biggest thing, apart from Evan of course, in this picture is the dragon, which looks perhaps a little bit strange to your eyes if you do not know Minecraft. This is actually not from the base game, it is a mod, but in Minecraft, in the game, Evan and Katelyn in their new season got a dragon and they called it Cool Ranch. It's an ice dragon, that's why it is so white. And I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's why I included that one to symbolize his passion also for gaming and for Minecraft. And then there is often also an animal depicted with the Fool. You could argue that the dragon is also kind of an animal, but I thought it would be more fitting to add Jupe, which is his and Katelyn's cat. Actually, Katelyn brought her into the relationship, but I feel at this point she's probably also his cat, almost as much as hers. So I included her, and she does not look too happy sitting on his back on the dragon, but I'm pretty happy with how she turned out, so she'll have to live with that. And something else in addition, which you probably have noticed, is that his arm is on fire. And that symbolizes his character in a lot of games being on fire again and again. It's kind of a pattern with him for some reason. So much so that he actually put it himself into his Minecraft skin that he designed. So a worthy inclusion. But we haven't talked about the background of the picture yet, and that is why I said in the beginning that I had a little trouble. That was the background. I'm not a watercolor artist, so I had to experiment a little. I seldomly do that, I have to admit. Normally I just move forward and just try and do it in a picture, which is quite risky, but at least in art, I'm a little bit like the Fool, probably, don't know. In this case, I had to experiment, and I would actually add a video if I would have gone just with something that I found. I tried a lot of different things from a lot of different tutorial videos. I wasn't happy with the results, not because the videos weren't great, but as I said, I'm more of the beginner side of watercolor. So I combined a lot of those tips that I found and came up with a background that I will probably use on all the cards to get kind of a stylistic similarity going, and you can see how it is turning out. Which is, if you ask me, kind of a mixed result. I'm not perfectly happy. I think it's okay. I think it works to a certain extent. It's a little bit busy, which is kind of an issue here because the composition is already quite strong, quite a lot of things going on. So with this busy background, I was thinking a long time about adding those white sprinkles because they make it even more busy. But I also thought white as a neutral color, perhaps it helps a little bit to ground the whole thing. And I actually think that they help. They give it also a little bit of movement. So that worked out for the better, I think. We will see how this will be in other cards, other color combinations. Yeah, let's see. But that's all for the Fool. So, the very first card. It's called Zero, but it's still the first. I had a lot of fun doing it. It took so long. I missed a video release last week because of that, because I just had so much trouble figuring out how to make that background. But I think it's worth it. I wanted to make this the best I could. I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm excited to continue. I hope it will be faster now because I have just figured out a lot of stuff on the way here. I had fun making it. I hope you had fun watching this and will be joining me for the upcoming cards. That would be very exciting. I hope I will see you again. Thank you so much for watching. Have the greatest of days and goodbye.